When I started taking titles seriously, I saw my blog post views like literally double and triple overnight just because of a few posts that I made that had better titles than I used to do. My name is Zuli Rain. I create videos about how to grow your blogging empire. One area that many people kind of overlook is the humble blog title. Blog titles are a highly psychological thing. They are how you get into your reader's head, get them to actually understand that this is an article that they want to read, they want to click on it and check it out. And to do that, you have to do some pretty intense work to figure out exactly who your reader is, what they want, how you can give that to them, and package that all up in 8 to 10 words, right? Like, it's a big ask. This is the 8-step formula I use to generate highly clickable blog post titles. Let's start easy. Step 1. Start with a draft title. There's so much pressure on you to write the perfect blog title right out of the gate that you spend so much time worrying about the title that your blog post doesn't come out that good. And then by the time you finish the blog post, the title doesn't really reflect what it's about anymore. Writing is an evolving process. Your blog post is going to change as you write it. The main idea, the nuances, they might be different than you thought when you started out. So here's what I'm doing. I am freeing you of the responsibility of writing a good blog post title right off the bat. Instead, I want you to write what I call a draft title. This is just something that's going to keep you focused on the main basic idea of your blog post, and you can come back and edit that title when you're done with the post. But for now, all you have to do is write a draft title. My thoughts on XYZ. That's all you need at the start. Okay, on to step 2. Now write your article. I've done a lot of stuff on how to write an article, so I'll keep this simple and short. Write good stuff that you care about. Write something that there's a reason for you writing it specifically. Write something that you love. That's it for step 2. On to step 3. Step 3 is where you start getting a little bit psychological. You want to really get into your reader's head. First of all, define who your target audience is. If you could boil down your readership to a single person, who is that person? What can you do to serve them? The more you understand what their struggles are, the better you'll be able to create a title that answers those pain points, that answers those challenges, and offers value right off the bat. Okay, so you've identified your key audience. Now on to step 4. This is where you actually start formulating the title. So you've got your draft title, you've written your blog post, you've got an idea of who you're writing for. Now, halfway through the process, I know, but now is when you actually start title creation process. So I want you to think about that pain that your audience is feeling. So for example, I write a lot of posts about blogging. So when I was coming up with the title for this video, I was like, okay, who am I talking to? And I realized the person I was talking to is someone who writes really good content, they love writing, but they're just struggling with the mechanics of, actually getting views. And one of their pain points is that they don't really know how to write good titles. I've been there, I know what that feels like. So I felt like that was a really good way to start my title. My audience, good writer, loves writing, struggling with mechanics of views. They can't figure out how to write a good title. We're gonna call to that pain in our title. There are a lot of different ways that you can show value, but I'm gonna narrow it down to just 4. This is all part of step 4, by the way. You can teach them something new, so that's what I'm doing in this tutorial, and the way I'm calling to the pain that hopefully you are feeling and hopefully you will no longer be feeling in a minute is calling it a how to do this cool thing. People are coming to me, they are struggling for instructions, they want a tutorial, they want guides on how to do this that's gonna stop them from feeling that pain point. That's why I use the words how to. I'm very clear with what you're gonna get in the title. This is an instructional guide to help you do this thing that I'm gonna promise you can do. But that's not the only reason that people come to your content. They might want something like entertainment. So this can be something that's funny, something that's shocking, something that they would watch on TV, but in written format. So if you're gonna do that, you wanna use some more emotional words. So like this hilarious thing or this tragic thing, whatever emotion, whatever sort of entertaining emotion you're calling to, that's the kind of emotion that you wanna evoke in your title. Think about how you can address that specific need, the need for entertainment, and what words you can use to attract that specific audience. So for example, if this was a video about ranting about titles and I was entertaining people by like complaining about titles, I would talk like about like 99% of titles suck, this is why. And that would be more clear that this is not an instructional video, it's a rant, and that can be maybe some entertainment for you. So the third type of value you can provide is empathy. A lot of people read because they're lonely. They want to feel seen, they want to feel heard, they want to feel understood. With your empathy, blog posts, you want to call to something that makes them feel less alone. That's the pain point that you're addressing. They are struggling with this issue. They might not be looking on instructions for how to solve it. They might not want like entertainment to fix it. Maybe they just want to be like, am I the only one with this problem? I hope not. So if you want to go for the empathy, what I would do is go extremely personal. Make sure that the title is clear that you're talking about your experience, your specific issue. That's going to make it so clear that when your reader looks at that, they're like, oh my God, I'm not alone. This person is also struggling with this highly specific issue. Again, using this title, I would maybe say something like, my bad titles were holding me back from reaching my true potential. This is where a lot of personal essay style articles come from. They are very, very powerful if you know how to craft the right title for them. The fourth is the perspective shift. So this is where you're challenging your readers' assumptions a little bit. This one, it's a little harder to create because you're not addressing a specific pain point. You're instead educating them about something that they didn't know. For this example, I might try to challenge a belief that they hold to be true right now. So if you're watching this, maybe you think that, your titles are great, the algorithm is what's holding you back. And I might say, the algorithm isn't your problem, your titles are. And that's a little bit of a challenge. The challenging assumption is very, very powerful because people love/hate to be proven wrong. And that's why it's really, really clickable. So if you're going for a challenging assumption type of article, go for things that are like, I bet you didn't know this, like, you're wrong about X, that kind of thing. And people are like, wait a minute, I'm not wrong about this. I know that's true. They click and then they're like, oh no, I see, I was wrong. This person has made me change my perspective. I want to finish up by saying your title can call to a mixture of these. Your article or video or whatever might not just be one of those. It might be a kind of blend. So if that's the case, make sure that you're calling to the element of the problem that you're solving using one of those 4 sort of templates. Okay, so number 5. You want to introduce an authority element. So if you have an existing relationship with your readers, this doesn't matter so much because they know you, they trust you, they like you, they'll click on your stuff, they're gonna believe you. But especially for newer writers, this step is so critical to building trust with your audience before they've even clicked on the article. You want to call to an authority figure. So let's say you're a brand new visitor to my website and you see this video and it's entitled something like how to write better titles. You might not be that incentivized to click on it because you don't know who I am. You don't know if I'm going to be giving you good advice or just a bunch of rubbish. But if I say something like, I've written over X number of titles, this is how you write the good ones. That introduces an authority element where you look at that and you're clearly like, oh, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. I trust them. I trust them to deliver value in this article. I'm going to click. There are lots of ways that you can introduce the authority element. I recommend either using your personal authority. So if this is something that you've experienced, definitely draw on that. Like maybe you're writing a relationship article and you've dated 17 people, you've been married 4 times, you're divorced 11 times somehow. You can draw on that to call yourself like a serial dater, a serial divorcee, whatever. And then use that expertise to market your article to people because obviously you have been around the block once or 11 times. You know what you're talking about when it comes to divorcing and marriages and dating and everything else. But you want to draw on an authority element, whether from you, a famous person from history, or from pop culture, a name that people will recognize and associate with the topic you're writing about, or something as simple as like the psychological way, the scientific way, things like that. That really, really helps to build that trust and incentive to click before they even know who you are or what you're writing about. Okay, step 6 is my favorite step because it's where you get to really flex your creative writing muscle. This is where you're gonna look for spice. It's a fine line to look for spice. You wanna look for words that are recognizable, but maybe not super familiar. So for example, one of my best performing posts was entitled The 6 Habits of Deeply Miserable People. The spicy word there is miserable. In my draft title, I wrote 6 things that sad people think. And sad is an okay word for what I was describing, but miserable is less commonly used, so it's more powerful, and it also has a little bit more nuance that sad just doesn't quite cover. So crack open your thesaurus, look for some interesting, spicy little words that you can put in your headline and your subtitle to really create a highly clickable blog post title. So you can see how I've done it in my title. Highly clickable is where I've introduced my spice. I would put it at like a mild to medium spice level. But you also don't want to go too far and go so jargony or so tailored that casual readers might not know what you're talking about at a glance. A fun way to do this that many people don't think of is use a foreign word. This works really well if you're writing about like a habit that you learned from a different country or a mindset. So my friend Amardeep wrote this title, Ikigai, the most misunderstood secret to a happy life. I don't know what Ikigai is. I have no idea, but I know about a happy life. And then you can see he's also kind of challenging that assumption, the most misunderstood. This made me click instantly when I saw it because, again, it's spicy, it's interesting, it makes me wonder. So I love that title, and I think it's a great example of how to introduce some spice into your titles. Number 7. Everyone hates this step, but it's a real important one. You gotta experiment. So there are a lot of factors outside of your control when you publish blog posts online, stuff that doesn't necessarily have to do with your title or the quality of it. So instead of looking for one-off wins or losses, you're looking for long-term trends. The only way you can do this is by trying lots of different things. What you're gonna do, you're going to write multiple titles for the same post, shop them around, try them out on your friend, try them out on your cat, try them out on your mom, see which one piques the most interest, most correctly grasps what your article is about, but without, giving it away. So you're gonna experiment on the same post. But then once you've decided on a title for that one post, you're gonna do it again for the next post, and you're gonna do it again for the post after that. It's really hard to learn lessons from one title. It is much easier to learn lessons from multiple titles that you've tried out, both for the same post and for multiple posts throughout your blogging career. Number 8. You have done pretty much everything you need to create a highly clickable blog title. Now, don't overlook this step. Make sure that your article actually delivers on the promise that your super highly clickable title gives readers. If you're using authority, make sure that authority is front and center of your article. If you're promising a how-to, make sure that there's actual instructions in your post. If you're offering a perspective shift, make sure you're really challenging those assumptions in the story. A lot of people think of clicks as a short-term thing, and you want to be thinking of a long-term relationship instead. So if you post something that says,
how to guarantee your cats will love you,
and I'm like, oh my God, I would love to know that, and I click on it, and all the post says is,
oh, there's actually no way, sorry, I didn't mean to mislead you, but yeah, there's no way to do it.
The next time I see that you've written a post entitled like,
how to train your cats to sit on command,
I'm not gonna click on it because you've broken my trust and I no longer believe what you have to say, no matter how clickable your title is. So you have to be thinking not just about the first click, but about the second click and the third click and whether these people are gonna tell their friends about you. Think long term. And those are the 8 steps I use to create a highly clickable blog title. Hopefully you have learned how to create your own highly clickable blog titles for your blog posts, and you're looking forward to creating some new ones. Do you agree with these steps? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, you can hit like. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next video. Happy writing, everyone. The most misunderstood I think my cats have the zoomies. What are you doing over there? Yeah, they definitely do.